Hi, I'm Deirdre McMurdy. Our guest today is Rob Mikalachki, who is the head of Small-Cap Equities for Trimark Investments. He's also the portfolio manager for the Trimark Global Small Companies class. Rob, welcome. And before we even start, congratulations to you and your team on not just your performance and your record, but the awards that you've won for it. I think you've got what? You've got 6 Canadian Investment Awards and 5 Lipper Awards. And I think all the viewers are very much looking forward to receiving an update from you today.
Oh, thank you.
Rob, what first inspired you to become a portfolio manager? What got you going in this business?
You know what? I had a brother who preceded me into the industry, and he fed me a couple of books, and that was it. It just hit me over the head, and I was hooked. I think it was Peter Lynch's One Up on Wall Street, and maybe Robert Hagstrom's The Warren Buffett Way, and they just really resonated with me. And then what I loved about investing, I loved the puzzle-solving aspect of it. You get inside of a business, you figure out what makes it tick, why it's advantaged and sustainably advantaged versus its peers, and why it's maybe misunderstood in the market. And if it is misunderstood and it's trading at a low price, that you step up, you belly up to the bar, and you buy it. And you see eventually if you were right or not. And that's the other part of investing I love, the competitiveness of it, the measurability of it, that over longer periods of time, you see who's winning and who's losing.
Over the past 5 years, you've earned investors a pretty impressive, and I guess that's what the awards are all for, an impressive 13.46% a year return in some pretty tough, slogging markets. How did you achieve this result for investors? How did you do that?
Ironically, those seeds were planted in the financial crisis. And it was the summer of 2008 to the spring of 2009 when our performance was probably the worst it's ever been on an absolute basis. We were just tripping over ourselves finding great investments. Everybody was fleeing the fracas. And we see ourselves a little bit like the investment Marines. You know, we're running to the fight. We're not running away from it. And we found all sorts of great investments. And we culled our portfolio. We sold companies that we liked to buy more of companies that we loved. And then we just got out of the way. You know, we let those seeds germinate. We let them grow and bloom into very, productive investments for us. And we had to make a few changes along the way. Some of our companies got acquired. Some got a little ahead of themselves in price. But for the most part, we just stayed out of the way.
The Trimark Global Small Companies class invests, as you've told us, in quite a range of companies, but not a lot of them are necessarily familiar household names. Can you help the current owners of this fund maybe understand a little bit about the way you've approached this? What are maybe the top 3 companies that you hold, what they do, what services or goods they offer in the market?
Sure. I think our largest holding is a company called Alliance Data, and they do a few things, but we know them in Canada pretty well. Their biggest business is running private label credit cards. So if you've got a Pottery Barn or a Victoria's Secret credit card, we're the guys giving it to you. We're giving you credit. We're providing your statement. If you have troubles and you're calling into the call center, you're dealing with us. And then we look at your shopping behavior, we analyze that data, and then we give it back to the executives at Victoria's Secret or Pottery Barn and help them come up with ideas to market to you. And we're the biggest guy in this market by a mile. Our second business is one that we'd all be familiar with here in Canada. And while this is a Dallas-based company, they run the Air Miles reward program in Canada. So 80% of us pull out our blue card at least once a month, whether we're at a Shell station filling up or a Safeway in Western Canada, and we earn reward miles. And again, Alliance Data is the company behind that. Another one of our big investments is it's a company called International Rectifier, and they make microchips or small electronic components. And if you've got an energy efficient fridge at home or an energy efficient washer or dryer, chances are it's our chip in there that's making it energy efficient. That's allowing that variable speed motor to conserve energy. Your car might have our chips in it. things like power braking now, power steering. Those are controlled by chips, and in many cases controlled by our chips. A third business in the portfolio would be a French company called Ipsos. Canada, we know them as Ipsos Reid, the pollster who calls us on the phone every once in a while.
At dinner time?
At dinner time, usually. But Ipsos really does a couple of things magnificently. They provide marketing companies with all sorts of feedback on their products, new innovations, products that are in the market, how the customers are receiving those products, and changes or changes to the marketing message that people like Procter & Gamble can make. And they also are one of two companies in the world that really dominate the world of testing advertising. So if you're Procter & Gamble and you've got a new product and you've got an ad campaign that you want to go out and support that product, chances are you're calling us, you're going to ask us to take a look at that campaign, bring in a bunch of people, provide some feedback to you, and then rejig the campaign. So three companies that most people probably have never heard of that are very central to our daily lives. What
parting message would you want to share with investors who are already unit holders, who have already, exhibited some faith in your judgment and your performance, Rob?
Hang in there. Invariably there will be a rough spot in our performance relative to our competitors. I think the worst thing that investors can do to themselves is to give into their emotions. And investors, including me, my first instinct is almost always the wrong instinct because it's ruled by emotion. I think you want to sober up, reflect on why you thought we were a good investment partner in the first place, and then make a decision. I think when it comes to investing, you really want to adopt the persona of a Mr. Spock and try to avoid being a Captain Kirk.
Right. Good analogy. Well, thanks very much, Rob. Thanks for sharing your insight on the small cap space.
Thanks, Deirdre.
And to viewers who are interested in learning more about the Trimark Global Small Companies class, speak with your financial advisor.